Hey guys, welcome to today's Goodness Chick Live at 5. We're going to be focusing on social media etiquette, which is a big one, but I think it's an important one that pertains to a ton of people out there, not just on a high school level, but college level, those within the workplace. And it's something we do need to dialogue because I'm going to tell you, it gets people in hot water very quickly, but it also creates a lot of obstacles and barriers for people when it comes to how they're depicting themselves. When we're dealing with young people in particular, 23 and under, there is the reality that the brain is not fully developed. There's that reality that they are inclined to be impulsive, not thinking about what I tweet, what I put on Instagram, a comment or a picture that's put on Facebook, whatever you fill in the blank. And what does that mean for me, down the road? And I know people, they're not thinking, at some point, my kids might have access to this someday and see these pictures I'm posting. At some point, not far down the future, my employer that I'm applying to might have access to these pictures. And there's kind of this fallacy that when I have a closed account or I've untagged myself in something, it's gone. And I can tell you for a fact, when it comes to social media, nothing is ever fully gone. I promise you that from the bottom of my heart, which is kind of a frightening thing. And it is getting our kids into trouble. We're looking in on a collegiate and workplace level. You now have people dumping tons and tons of money at hiring people to find our kids. And I mean that in the way of they don't want to hire or take somebody, admit somebody into their university if you're considered or deemed high risk. And what does that mean? That means, we have a lot of young people that their identity, unfortunately, is kind of wrapped up in how many likes do I get. I'm taking pictures, kind of like documenting the heck out of everything, which is okay. But a lot of times it means not always in the best place, not always doing the right thing, whether that's, they're at a party and, they're inebriated and you can tell, or they're holding, whatever kind of beverage. And that might seem extreme, but the reality is in a very short window of time, in less than 30 seconds, an employer or university, and I'm even going to throw out there, friends of friends or whatever, family members, we're making judgments because we're human, whether that's right or not. Your character, what I convey to, the young people that I work with, is conveyed through the pictures that you post, whether that's fair or unfair, how you dress, who you're hanging out with, what's in your hands. And you might say, well, Aaron, that's crazy. I'm 22.3 years old, but I'm going to tell you, when it comes to the workplace, it comes to just things in general in society, urge your kids to be careful because it absolutely has created obstacles for people getting hired. It's caused issues for young people when it comes to getting admitted to colleges. And on the third end of it, I've had situations where, students have conveyed to me, I don't understand why, somebody in my family was upset about a picture I posted or this that I put on social media. And a lot of times it's kind of like the parent that they'll say, I don't understand. Well, I'll sit with them and kind of turn the table and say, what would your grandma, your grandpa say about that? And most of the time that young person is like, well, I don't think they would super dig it. And I'd say, well, then really, you're going to make mistakes when you're in high school, college, and life. Just super get in line with that. And maybe you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, or whatever, is going on. You don't need to post everything because it kind of, you just don't need to do it. And I'll say, if you're out, a young person, you're out drinking with your friends, or you're out tailgating, sometimes it's okay to leave something to the imagination, and that goes with dress and all this other stuff. And I know I sound super old, but I'm going to tell you, unfortunately, some of the pictures I've seen over the years in my profession and both personally, it's uncomfortable sometimes. And I kind of go from the grandma approach where, if your grandma's not comfortable seeing that, don't post it. Having these dialogue discussions with your kids and saying, listen, I care about you, I love you, I'm not, telling you not to get on social media, but all these different forms of social media do require elements of responsibility. And you don't need to document everything that you're doing, and realizing, whether it be in a high school, college, workplace, at some point, when you're older, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, whoever, in 5, 10, 12 years, there's going to be the ability for the next generation to access everything And so it's hard to think about now. And I certainly, at 18 years old, I was not thinking about, whatever I was doing and connecting that to whatever outcome. That would be when I was a parent, when I was married, when I had nephews, and all that jazz. But this is a dialogue that we have to have with our kids. And so I encourage you from the bottom of my heart, the social media etiquette is super important. Check out goodnesschick.com tomorrow, because this is something that really does hit a whole lot of our young people. And I'm going to say, kind of almost the 25 and under. And it's something we need to dialogue with frequently and consistently, because it's not a one-shot deal. It's got to be ongoing. I wish you the best. Peace, love, and goodness.